Hello and welcome to DigiCaddy. I will be your travel guide during this full experience over the next year. So, what is DigiCaddy? Well, hopefully, it is something that can take me from a current 16.9 handicap and make me better over the course of a year. Basically, what it is me taking a small microprocessor, embedding it into a development box, and then carrying this thing with me on the course. I'll be letting it track my swings via my wristwatch, right? It'll track it via my launch monitor. I'll track it with the camera system. And then I also have some GPS. And then the rest is kind of just to kind of build everything together. From there, I'm going to feed all of this information that I get through the microprocessor to AI. And AI is going to come up with a training plan, instructions, and basically teach me how to play better golf. Now, before we do all that, right, I didn't just start. This isn't my first day playing golf. I haven't only played for a year. I've played for multiple years. I've played, I don't know, 25 years. Probably taken numerous lessons over that time period. Nothing seems to be working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that. I'm going to engineer a solution that hopefully helps me and helps everybody else that's actually watching this. So buckle up. I guess we're going to get right into this series, and I'm going to start developing some stuff on my desktop, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's actually jump into what's been going on. Again, I said that I'm very early into the process here, and the main thing that I've been looking at is developing the pipeline for how I'm going to integrate everything together. So right now I'm running Visual Studio Code, and then I also installed Python, which is running in the background, which provides me your OpenCV, ways to really look at videos. It's going to provide me a lot of ease when I actually start integrating some of these sensors together, such as the launch monitor or my watch, or the video. I kind of just got things set up and just doing some quick tests, right? So my first test was, how do I communicate with this large language model? So one of the big things, right, and I'm not going to get super in depth into this because it's not really my background, right? But if you are doing this, right, and you're sharing information, you're going to have to use an API key, right? So if you're communicating with this large language model, the API key is basically telling it who you are as a user. And so the big thing with that, if you're displaying something over video, you don't want people to actually be able to take and copy that and utilize your stuff, right? Because then they're going to start charging money to you based off of tokens and how you use this thing. So when you're setting it up, make sure that you're actually putting an environmental folder or an environmental file out there. That way you can store your API keys and you don't have to display it within inside of your code. Then the next thing that I do, if you're going to utilize GitHub, use a git ignore, and then place that environmental file text inside that git ignore. So when you are pushing and pulling up to GitHub, it's just going to bypass that. So if you decide to open things up later, you want to do this on your own, you want to host something up on GitHub, just a couple of things just to be wary of. Okay, so digging into the code. So what I did, right, is I am literally just passing this thing a video. I want to see what it actually responds back with a video. And during the first test, I ran into an issue. So I passed it a video, and then as I am sitting there and I am polling this, I pulled it too early and basically just made the whole system crash out. So what I did to get around that is I came down and I actually put in a loop. So that way I can check and see if the client is still processing that information that I passed to it before trying to pull it back down and again running into a crash. Okay, so again, a large part of this AI caddy is going to be me training it. And you're going to see why, right? So when I run this is just a video of me inside of this same simulator swinging a club. And if I'm going to get better at golf, right, in a year, this is not going to be valuable. So what you'll see is the information that it's going to provide back to me. And again, if I'm looking at this thing to give me an actual training schedule, training plan, track all my stuff, and make me a better golfer, then this probably isn't going to be very useful. But that's okay because this is just a starting point. Again, all this is going to get better.
So when I passed this video, right, what does it say? It's just multiple golf clubs stored in bags and numerous scattered golf balls are visible on the floor. Okay, so I'm a slob. All right, that happens. And then it also says a golf hitting mat, and then a significant portion of the background is dominated by a large projection screen. Um, then it says that there's a man that is seen performing a full golf swing. Great. Is that golf swing good? Is that golf swing bad? I don't know. But hopefully by the end of this year, right, not only am I not going to be a 16.9 handicap, hopefully, right, but I'm also going to have outputs from this system that make sense. Outputs to a user, a golfer that is trying to get better that makes sense. So again, this is just a quick preview of what I have going on, where I'm currently at. I'm going to try to do posts just to keep everybody informed of how the progress goes, and then hopefully just let y'all see this thing in action. We'll see. This is the very early starting, so more to come. All right, so here's the next step that I took. So instead of running the watch receiver and the AI caddy separately, right, now I'm just going to be calling the AI caddy from the watch receiver script. This just helps me out so I don't have to run the watch receiver, log the file, stop it, and then open up the AI caddy advisor, run it so it can send the telemetry to the large language model. So let's give it a check out, see if it'll actually detect this swing, and then see if it'll automatically send the swing for me. So first thing we should look for, make sure it's running, make sure I'm getting IP addresses. It's pinging it. Okay, so all that looks good. And then from there, the next thing that I want to do, I want to actually try and detect a swing and see if it'll actually send it out for me. So let's give that a shot. All right, so take my setup, right? Swing detected. Okay, so and it looks like it is sending the telemetry. I saw the log attempt 1. Let's see if we actually get something back out of it, and it'll receive or send us back a response on what we should correct or what we're doing wrong. Okay, so there we go. So we actually got a response, right? It gives us some more information. So that's great. So now we have something to automatically detect our swing, send it out, give the telemetry data to the large language model, and then receive the feedback back. So that's great. Off and running. Okay, so making progress, right? So I've moved on from the watch to now trying to get data from my launch monitor. My initial thought going into this is I would just use the FSX Play and then kind of just read the data as it is thrown over the Wi-Fi packets and then pick those up. That didn't work out so well. Actually, I saw nothing, so I was like, oh no, this is not going to be good. So then I kind of diverted. So instead of using the FSX Play, I diverted to using GS Pro. Since it's an open source community, right, I figured I'd probably have a little bit better luck, right? And so during my initial steps, right, I did a lot of port sniffing across the ports that it was outputting this data, but just wasn't picking anything up. Then finally, right, I was able to actually collect some data, right? So, and I got some ball speed data, angles, all of that good stuff. but the ball speed wasn't correct. So the ball speed was actually half of the ball speed that is actually showing up on my launch monitor. Turns out that GS Pro, when they output this data, they're using meters, right? When we're doing it, it's all miles per hour. So then I started running through some different diagnostic tests, and I figured, okay, well, if this is the case, then basically I could just put a multiplier on this, and then I can get correct data. So after several attempts, and noticing that every time I got new data, the multiplier would have to be different, I was like, well, this isn't going to work. It's not going to give me accurate information. On top of that, I wasn't getting any club data. And so I really want the club data, the face data, so I can match it to my watch data and really just start pairing everything up and actually build what my swing looks like in a 3D environment, right, and getting real good information. So what I did, right, so, and I'll show you down here, basically I just ran some lines. It would look for an input back from me, right, and then from that input, it would try to correct those ball speeds, and here's those calibrations that were occurring. And then finally, after beating my head against it for a little while, right, I just decided to go a different path. GS Pro actually puts all of the log data from the shots in a folder on your desktop already. So this at least solves it for the shankulator or simulator, you know, and once I get the actual mini processor hardware that I'm going to use, then I can start looking at, okay, how can I get this real data out on the course? How am I going to have to connect to it? But I'm not trying to hammer that out right now. But once I finally realized, again, that I could get all this log data from the GS Pro text file, right, that just made it super easy. Now all the ball data was correct. I'm getting club data, face data, all of that good stuff. So where do we go from there? I was like, well, how hard can this be if I just integrate everything together right now? You know, bring the watch data, the launch monitor data together, and then see if I can send it over to my AI or my large language model and see if I can get some useful information. I guess we're about to find out. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll tell me I'm just a person swinging a club in the room again. I don't know. Let's go though. Let's see what happens. All right. So I just kicked off the watch receiver. I see that it's collecting data from my watch, right? And now I'm going to actually hit a shot, see if it gives me the telemetry, if it detects my shot. And then we'll see what it actually posts up afterwards, if it gives me real usable information. Probably going to tell me that I'm terrible, but that's okay. That's why we're doing this. Okay, so we do have a swing is matched, right? It picked up the data. I see that it's sending the telemetry data along. So I saw the attempt 1 of 3. Let's give it a second. Still waiting. All right. Okay, so there we go. So let me go ahead and kill this script. Stop. All right. So here we go. Right. So your RX, that's your hand rotation rate, is absolutely through the roof at impact. Clocking in at 24.77 radians per second. That's a frantic attempt to close the club face. Hey, this is good information. But here's the kicker. Despite that massive effort, your spin axis is still 2.6 degrees to the right. Is that what it says? Push 2.2. So that's close. You know, we can see maybe it's picking up some old data. Let's see. When it output this, did it actually output the... Okay. So I think the better option here, so let's actually output the data coming off of the launch monitor so I can make sure that we're grabbing the correct data. Because this seems like it took like an old reading and then used it with the new reading from the watch. All right, and then back with another quick update. So again, at the end of the last one, and I'm sure it'll all run together, I was having issues. I saw that the spin axis seemed to be incorrect. I think it was grabbing some stale data. So we're just going to run another quick test. Again, this is using the watch and the launch monitor and all the data, sending it off to AI to see what it actually says about my swing. So let's go ahead and we're going to kick this off again, see what we can do. All right, I have it capturing everything, right? And then from there, let's go over here, take another swing. Swing detected. All right. So let me at least see what we get here. See if it's going to come up with the same thing. 0.1 degrees right spin axis. So hopefully if it flags spin axis again, it's going to flag it correctly with the right number. Now we're just going to wait for it to post. Sometime today. Oh, there's a new one. 429 resource exhausted. Okay. All right. So we're going to try this again. So ran into the one issue of the data being different off the launch monitor versus. So remember when I was talking about the request per minute and request per day and having to stay below that? So yeah, I was tripping the request per minute earlier, so that's why it didn't actually capture my swing or provide me information back. I still haven't really updated it. Maybe I will. We'll continue to press down this road. But I do think I have the other parts working, right? So now it's actually picking up the correct data. And then hopefully, I don't know, maybe we're actually getting some useful or starting to get to some useful information. Nothing I'm going to take and like go and train with yet, but maybe a lot closer. We're going to see. So let's run this thing and see what happens. All right, so there we go. I see it. It is logging my watch data, so that's coming across right now, right? Now I'm going to come up. We're going to hit a ball. We'll see what happens. Okay, it picked it up. So it looks like it is sending it through. And then once it gets to some usable information, it looks like that last one, process and swing mechanics. Okay, so let's see what it says. Oh, there we go. I'll probably fill that with some music. Okay, so hey, look, we actually get some information. Let's go back. 162.8 yards carry. I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So it actually, I mean, it gives me good information. I was thinking I was reading it wrong, but no. Yeah, I'm just not good right now. But yeah, it's interesting. So we're making progress. I think next steps, I'm going to try to do the cameras as well. So and start adding the visualization into it along with the wrist, along with the launch monitor. And oh, I updated boards. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. But yeah, we're moving right along. Let's see.